Hey y'all, it's Art by C, and today I'm going to attempt the cheap art supply challenge. If you don't know what that is, basically you get some money, not a lot, just a few dollars, and you go to some place like Dollar General or Dollar Tree, and you pick up some mediocre art supplies and try to make something great. So I actually love this challenge and the idea behind it, because a lot of people think you need really fancy materials to make good art, and that's just not true. A lot of us started with Crayola. But I actually kind of attempted this challenge before, not knowing it, because I got this 70-cent watercolor from Party City and did this painting here, which I was pretty happy with, especially since I was using such a cheap material. So that was kind of like me doing the challenge unknowingly a few years ago. But anyways, I'm gonna attempt it for real, like how they do on YouTube. So wish me luck. Alright, bye. Hey, so we're at the Dollar Tree. I'm with Tim. He's gonna help me pick out some supplies, and I'll probably show some clips at the Dollar Tree, and then I will show the supplies I got at home. So, bye. I'm just gonna jump right in with what I got. First, I was super amazed that they had this watercolor pad. 96 pounds, 15 sheets, not bad at all for $1. We'll test it out. I got some brushes, so hopefully the hair won't fall out all over. Kind of looks like it already is. Some paints. Kind of interested to see how those will work. It doesn't even say acrylic on it, which is kind of funny. I got a Sharpie for lining. And finally a little watercolor set. So we'll see how all of this works. I'll probably just use a mechanical pencil like this. So yeah. Also, obviously everything was $1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus a little bit of change, so probably $5.30 spent on this supplies. So I decided that one paper may not be tough enough, so I got this huge poster board type thing. It's 22 by 28 inches, so one side's shiny and slick and this side has more of a rough texture, so we're gonna try that. I also got some markers. I figured I could also use them as watercolor. They're dual-sided, which is kind of cool. And then I also picked up some color pencils because I figured I might as well try those out as well. So down. Okay, so the drawing I kind of came up with is this bottled up girl, almost like how you would preserve a creature or something in this bottle with corkscrew, and she's just gonna kind of be entangled in these plants. Don't mind that, that's a different idea. But as you can see, my sketches are very loose and kind of crappy, but that's just how I do things, so let's get into it. So I figured it'd be kind of fun to do a voiceover and kind of talk about the challenge, since it is something that it's not just the speed drawing. I am trying to work with these cheap materials. So first I'm just sketching out with this pencil. I had a bit of troubles with the positioning of the girl. When I have a weird pose that I'm trying to draw, my best advice is just to take a picture of yourself doing it, even if you are only wearing a swimsuit, or even if you're naked. It helps a lot to get reference for that. because you don't want to just like blatantly steal someone's picture and their pose, you know, so try to recreate it yourself and then go off that. I was mixing these paints, and of course they're, you know, a bit watery because they're $1. But the white was not very opaque, so that was kind of fun to deal with. I didn't really have anything to use as a highlight, so I just kind of had to like really pile on the white acrylic. And usually when I'm working with acrylics, I water down my acrylics a lot for details and stuff. So rather than using the watercolor, I just really watered down some acrylic and almost used it like a watercolor. Now and then I would use some of the watercolor, but I'm very comfortable with acrylics and how they work. I use craft paint even with my like large, like professional looking paintings. So, you know, craft paint's only like $1, so I'm kind of familiar with some cheaper paints. So, yeah. I also put the masking tape to protect the paper because I was getting some stuff on it. And then all of a sudden it skips to this clip where I've already painted some of the hair and the body, so I'm sorry, I don't know where the clip's at, and I promise I just used the cheap materials, so I'm not quite sure what happened. But I was having a bit of trouble with the hair at first, but then I went in with some color pencil, and not quite right now, but in a little bit it looks somewhat more tamed, so adding the darker values helped tame it, I suppose. So I was just watering down some like skin color that I made with the acrylics, kind of using the watercolor here and there. I never really quite used the markers just because they were so neon and they didn't work with like the greens or anything. This was more of like a muted palette, so didn't really use the neons. I went in with color pencil and added some detail with the bottle and such. I think the top of the bottle looks good with like the highlights and everything, but then where the girl's at, it was kind of hard to do the highlights with her being there, and I didn't want to like take away any of the detail of her, so I didn't really focus on the highlights that much just because I really wanted you to be able to see the figure in the bottle. These leaves were interesting. I went in with the thin brush, the one that I like kind of chopped, and did some of the viney leaves and stuff, and I was just kind of referencing like aquatic plants and stuff. No plant in particular really, I just kind of wanted it to look like loose and whimsical to some degree. And like I said, I kind of wanted it to look like it was, you know, holding her, or not holding her really, but like more, I don't know what the word is, but basically like she's kind of tangled up in these roots, or almost like relying on them to some degree. Like maybe she's part plant or something. I don't know the full story. But yeah, I was really happy with the idea, like the general composition. So I think that maybe in the future I'm gonna do like a more nicer, elaborate, detailed painting of this. The background was like very winged. I was just looking up pictures of like blurry science labs and blurry shelves and just kind of referencing that. The shelves to the left were a bit closer to the foreground, so I made them a little bit more detailed, and then the rest of the background really just smudged some like dark gray blue paint on and like called it a day. So I'm not super happy with the background, but like you get the idea, right? Yeah, I'm really happy with how I got the water in the glass look almost like, you know, very kind of like dirty or like green. I don't know. There I'm cutting it and trimming it just because like the shelves were just frustrating me. And here's what I'm talking about, where I just like slapped some color on there and I'm like, alright. I kind of skip around a lot with my art, so I kind of like, you know, went from the face to the background, blah blah. Okay, so here's the finished product. I was actually pretty happy with it, other than the paper getting all like crumbly, but I think it looked pretty decent. Like I said, I was happy with the overall composition. If you've listened this far, I really appreciate it. So I'm gonna put a coupon up on the screen for 25% off to my Etsy shop. I'm trying to add more items, but as of right now, it's mostly stickers and prints. But I'm gonna put some original artwork in a few weeks or so. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Bye.